What's cracking, guys? Bruce Mattson here, your host show of Metric Scout Fantasy Football. Allen Robinson just signed with the LA Rams a few days ago, which is very interesting considering he has played with horrific quarterbacks over the course of his career. Now he gets to align himself with Matthew Stafford and a high-powered LA Rams offense. It's going to be interesting to see how he transitions, how he fits into this new scheme. But considering he's been playing with bad quarterbacks his entire career, things should only be looking up for him. With that being said, let's take a look at his new fit. First thing we're going to have to look at for Allen Robinson is his Dynasty Fantasy Football value. And the one thing I want to look at is ADP. Over at Dynasty League Football, I'm going to be looking at their ADP over time app, looking at his overall value over the course of his career. As you can see in 2016, we saw a major bump up in his Dynasty value. This is when he was a productive asset in fantasy. Top 5 guy in overall positional value here. During that time, top 5 as well in 2016. And then 2017, wide receiver 10-ish. 2018, wide receiver 16-ish. So he was very valuable back in the day, if you remember that far back. Things just started to change, especially when he got with Chicago. Started to go downhill. This last year was not good. This looks like a good buying opportunity here at the end of 2021, going into 2022. Right now, he's valued as the wide receiver 40-ish right now in ADP before this transaction. And overall, about the 80th player off the board in startup drafts. Guaranteed, that has bumped up some within the last few days. That is a guarantee. How high? Well, to speculate on this, considering the market, considering he's an older wide receiver, he may be playing second fiddle to Cooper Kupp. How's the run game going to look? He's pretty much wide receiver 40-ish here. Maybe wide receiver 35-30. That seems about right. It may get pumped up, maybe 29, 28 at the highest. But somewhere around there, I would guess. We'll just see when the ADP numbers come out next month. Right now, overall, 79 in ADP. So I would say probably get bumped up in like 60s, maybe high 50s, like 58, 59 maybe. 55 at the highest for him. But he will see a jump in value with him being an older wide receiver. I mean, he is from the 2014 draft class. I don't see him jumping too much. But also, production for year one is going to be very important, especially for a lot of dynasty aficionados. And you still have some years left with him. He can still be a productive asset, especially with Matt Stafford. With this offense, it's very potent. So I could just see him being productive for at least another couple years if things click. If things don't click, we'll know off the rip. So he is kind of a risky asset, because what if it doesn't? What if he is just falling off slowly and we just couldn't tell just because the situation's bad, the injuries and all that stuff? We don't really know. However, he is talented. We know he's talented. We've seen this on the field. We've saw the production over the years. We're getting towards the end. So we need to tread this cautiously. Let's look at his production over the course of his career. Here is his yearly end stats. 2015, 304 fantasy points. That really shot up his ADP for 2016. If you remember the graph previously where his ADP shot up to top 5, that was from scoring 304 fantasy points, which is a big deal there. 197 the next year. 2017, I believe that's the ACL injury. Someone quote me in the comments, correct me or whatever. 2018, 155. This year, 2021, 85. Another bad season, another injury season. Either way, it's not fantasy points for us. 262 fantasy points in 2020. So he has been productive these last few years. It's just this year, a little bit on the down end. But overall, steady baseline here in the middle. And then some low ends with the injury-riddled year. So not too bad. Position finishes. His best year, wide receiver 6. 2020, he was wide receiver 9, a wide receiver 1, and a wide receiver 8 and 19. 2018, wide receiver 39, which is not horrible. So, again, has not been bad. So, really, if you look back at those years, forecasting this year with a good offense and quarterback, we might be in the money with him. I don't think you're going to be able to buy him. I think the buying opportunity was during the season when he was with the Bears this year. That's when he was at the all-time low. Now his price tag has went up a little bit. I think you can probably get him at a decent cost. I think it's going to cost you more than what you want to pay for. A veteran wide receiver is going to be 30 sooner than what you think. You may not want to tread those waters, but there's also a chance that he rejuvenates his career this year because he is a talented player and he's playing with a talented quarterback in a talented situation that could go boom on us. Here's some more stuff. Average fantasy points per game. 2015, his best year, 19. 2019, 15.93. And 2020, 16.43, which is pretty solid. If I would guess where his average fantasy points per game would be if he was healthy this year and transitions well with the Rams, which I don't see why he shouldn't, but that's something you still got to think about. I would say it probably would be in his 15, 16 point range here in PPR. Like, I know Cooper Kupp's there. I see that. I recognize that. But I do recognize this is Allen Robinson as well. I recognize the offense, the situation. I could see that being a possibility. These other years, it's 2016, 12.33. He could give you 13 PPR fantasy points a week. I could see that. Or 12-ish. 12-ish, probably somewhere between 12 and 16 makes sense in his range of outcomes. 19, I feel like that's kind of high unless things go bonkers. Maybe he gets some touchdowns. Maybe he gets a lot of volume, way more volume than expected. Maybe they dial it back on Cooper Kupp, sling it more to Allen Robinson. They did get rid of Bobby Woods today, so that could open up some more targets to him, or that could open up some to Van Jefferson. We don't know yet. We'll see when things happen, but here it talks about the rush opportunity and stuff, but I like to focus on these. Total weeks by position rank. So he has 9 games where he was a top 5 guy. 20 in the top 12, so 20 wide receiver 1 weeks, 18 wide receiver 2 weeks, 16 wide receiver 3 weeks, and then the rest, 46 games where he was like a wide receiver 4 or worse. Overall, though, I feel like he's been undervalued, especially when you just go back his timeline, and his production hasn't been too far away. You're talking 2020, 2019, 2018, where he was productive. 2021, a tail end year here, a big drop down. I mean, ebbs and flows happens. That's life. Life's not linear. Football's not really linear. Things are going to go up and down. So I could see a dead cat bounce here at least in these graphs for production. But I imagine he's not going to hang out here at the bottom rung of these graphs. I think he's going to bounce back up if I would guess. The talent's still there. The situation's a lot better. Better quarterback play. More volume in the offense. More opportunities to look at. Moving on to our favorite site here, Pro Football Reference. Site looks like it was built in 1995 and it's still carried over here in 2022. But we love it nonetheless. Targets wise, let's look at here. Cooper Kupp last year, 191 targets. Van Jefferson, 89. Tyler Higbee, 85. Robert Woods, 69, but he was out, only played like 9 games. Odell Beckham, 48. There's a chance he could get 100 targets in his offense. Again, think about it this way, though. Targets going to be different year in, year out. Passing volume, different year in and year out. But from looking at what's here on the roster, what's here catching passes on the Rams, Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson, if Robin's healthy throughout the year, he's going to approach 100 targets. Even if Cooper Kupp gets his. Even if Cooper Kupp somehow duplicates this season, just looking through here, there's a very good chance that he gets 100 targets. If he does not fall off whatsoever in talent, which I don't see that happening, and he stays healthy, he's definitely going to out-target Van Jefferson. Van Jefferson here with 89 targets. He's definitely going to do that. I'm guessing he's definitely going to be over 100 targets, probably push for 120, 130 or something like that. It's hard to do when you got a guy here getting 190, but realistically, Cooper Kupp's probably not getting 191 targets next year. It's just so high that it's got to regress. Even if it's still like 180, 170, 150, that's still a regression point that could funnel to other players here on the offense. More likely to Allen Robinson. Targets are earned. If they're earned, they're going to go to talented players. If Allen Robinson's talent doesn't drop off due to the injuries, due to bad quarterback play, due to age, you're looking at targets going his way. That's just obvious. That's deductive reasoning. Is he a buy in fantasy? Looking at this ADP, he was a buy before the signing with the Rams. Definitely. Big time buy before that. Now his price is going up. We got to see how high that price is. If I'm trying to guess, it's a big spectrum of outcomes when you're thinking about how trade negotiations are going to work in Dynasty. And usually when I give suggestions or thoughts of the value, I just go with the rookie picks and if what could potentially stack up. Things get weird when you go player for player and stuff like that, especially when you're thinking off the top of your head here. I feel like a lot of Dynasty gamers, when it comes to putting them out on the open market, are going to be hard-pressed to just give them away. A lot of people see a change in value, and they'll just type on their social media account, on their Twitter, and be like, this player's a sell, this player's a buy. But really, in this aspect here, you have a very talented wide receiver. He's an aging prospect, but he's in a situation that could make him go boom, make him be productive. And a lot of FOMO or like anti-FOMO or whatever you call, like that regret of the sell would be in there. I imagine that regret, like if he does go off with Matt Stafford, if he has like a Cooper Kupp year or something that's playing in their mind, I imagine his value, his perceived value, or whatever value you want to call that, is going to be higher than what a lot of people are going to want to pay. And there's also going to be Dynasty gamers who just recognize this could be my last time to sell him. I need to get younger. I'm rebuilding. I need to offload him. This guy looks like a contender. These three teams in my league are contenders. Let's see if I can get a 201. Let's see if I can get a 111. Let's see if I can get that 111 and maybe a 2013 second. Let's see what I can get. Maybe I can get a mid-round first. This league's not super savvy to values. Maybe I can get something like that. Remember, all these leagues value players differently. They value rookie picks differently. I'm in some leagues that will not trade rookie picks, and I'm in others where there's like 20 trades going on a day and you can't keep up with the league. Things are different, and it's a wide spectrum. And what we preach on this show, and it's very practical, is you just got to be active. You got to know your league, and you have to kick the tires every time when there's a value change, whether you're trying to buy, whether you're trying to sell. Show some interest. Just see what happens. After all, we're just playing a game here. But with Allen Robinson, I would see what is the price tag for him. Knowing this rookie class, go back in the mock drafts I have on this channel. I have like 30 of them. I have ADP on here. Look at those players who are going off in the late second round, late third round, mid third round of rookie drafts. Are those players you're interested in? Are you wanting to deal like a mid-late second round rookie pick? Because you're not interested in those players in that range of outcomes of that draft anyways when it's time for you to pick. Or the third round. Are you willing to try to chip those away to see if you can land Allen Robinson on the cheap? Maybe that manager doesn't want Allen Robinson on their team anymore and they think this is it. This is my time to get out. He's an older player. My team's rebuilding. Maybe that late first, maybe you're not into Chris Olave, maybe you're not into those players. We have an idea where these players are probably going to go in those ranges. Now, look at what you want, what you don't want. It's your team. That's what I'm telling you, but you got to be submitting offers to buy. Selling, I'm trying to get the most I can out of him. This is what I'm trying to do. Of course, I'm trying to tell you to underbuy and oversell. That's the name of the game here. So, of course, I'm telling you how to lowball people. People want to talk about how you shouldn't be lowballing and how you should be always giving these respectable trades. But on the real, though, we're trying to win our trades too. That's part of the game. So you just have to galaxy brain this out. And off the top of my head, if I'm selling Allen Robinson, I want a mid-first. I want to go for a mid-first. I know I'm not going to get Treylon Burks. I know I'm not going to get Breece Hall for him, but maybe I can get maybe like a Jameson Williams. Maybe I could get a Drake London if he falls in rookie drafts. Maybe I can get that good wide receiver who falls a little bit due to bad landing spot. Maybe I can get Isaiah Spiller. Maybe I could do that. Maybe not. More than likely not. More than likely that's not going to happen. However, dynasty trades are a lot like sales. And in sales, you're going to get told more times than you're going to get told yes. But it's a numbers game, and you just got to keep submitting those sales. You got to keep going after it, and eventually you're going to start stacking them up. But you're going to be told no a million times, but eventually the wins are going to start stacking up. And that's how it is here with trades as well. After that, I just funnel it back from there. Usually how I like to do things is find the max I think I could sell a guy for that might happen in the range of outcomes, and then walk it back, see what I can do. I think there's going to be a stiff spot here, maybe in the late first, early second round. I think that's where the value is going to be in trade negotiations. That's probably where the market's going to say that he should be sold at. Whether you believe that's his value or not, that's probably where it's going to be at. I don't see people really going to just give him away just because he's an older wide receiver, because this situation is pretty good. It's probably one of the best situations possible for him. With that being said, we've been waiting for him to have a quarterback pretty much our entire lives. He's got it. Why would I sell him now when he has a good quarterback? You should have came to me in November. You should have came to me in October. You should have came to me in December. Now you're coming to me when times are good. I'm going to jack that price up. So I think trade negotiations are just going to be sticky overall. It's really hard to peg a value. No matter what, though, put in an offer. Put them on the block, see what happens. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to make that trade. Just see what happens. You'd be surprised on some of these players who change values when you put them on the block or try to make an offer for how many trades you'll land just because. Just because the other manager's like, yeah, I get it. I don't want this guy. Thank you for submitting this offer. I don't care I'm losing 20% on this trade. I don't care if I'm losing 30%, 50%. You know what? I like this young prospect. I kind of like this portion of the draft. You know what? Do it. Let's do it. Some people are very loosey-goosey like that. Some people have just different values for players that you don't know. And really, as long as you're active, as long as you're being aggressive on the markets, you're going to have times where you hit. And if you're submitting offers all the time, there's going to be times where you're going to land a good player on the cheap. There's going to be a time you're going to be able to sell a player for more than what he's worth. And that's the goal here. That's why we want to be active. We want to see what we can do on these trades. This is one thing you do not hear about on most Dynasty Fantasy Football platforms is what to do in trade negotiations. The philosophy of it is most important. Not just what this player is worth, what this player is not worth, player good, player bad. It is the philosophy, the fundamentals. If you got the fundamentals down core, you do not need to know the values that well. You just need to have a good baseline of them, submit offers, and just go off of what you want, trade for what you want, and just be active and be aggressive. And that's one thing I want to preach about on this channel. That way we get more people into Dynasty, into transactions, being more aggressive, doing the right things to help win their league. And it's not trading just a trade, because we're not accepting all the trades and they're not accepting all our offers. We're really just seeing or pushing the other managers in our league to the max on the buying and to the selling. And a lot of times we're just going to be told no, and that's okay. And it's not like we're trying to funnel bad trades or trash offers. We're really just looking at the realm of possibilities, and we're just taking it to the max. And if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. And more likely it's not, and that's okay too. And just that's how I want to look at it. But overall, I think Allen Robinson's a good player. I think the buying window is shut right now. I think you're not going to get him at a discount unless you got a manager with him who's on a rebuilding team that feels like this is the time just to get rid of them, and you might be able to catch some discounts in some leagues that way. There's probably somebody somewhere out there. There's probably somebody watching this show that can. It's just not going to be likely for me, you, or the other guy. But there's probably somebody out there that can get him at a discount. But his value just went up. I wouldn't be selling him on the cheap right now. I'd be trying to max that value since he went to the best situation possible. But let me know what you think. Let me know if you have him on your team, if you're selling him, or what value or what you're trying to get. But no matter what, if you don't know what to do, just try to max it out. But that's all I got for you today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Every subscription matters. It fuels me to keep pumping out this content. Fuels me to keep helping you out with your fantasy teams and everything else. Again, I want to thank you, and I'll catch you next time.